Well, hi, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Jim Riley, Old Man PT. Hey, a lot of you been asking, yeah, Jim, we've been walking just like you, or with you, or at least mentally by watching your videos. But hey, we're not getting in shape like we should. I don't know. Some of this is just natural. And it's both a blessing and a curse. Because everybody wants to look this good, right? Okay, well, anyway, today we're not going to go for a walk. No, today Old Man PT is going to do some cooking. I'm going to make my father, Ed Riley's, spaghetti sauce. And I think he got the recipe from his father, Ed Riley Sr. And who knows, he may have gotten the recipe from his father, James W. Riley. So we've got a lot to do. Let's get started. First of all, spaghetti is one of the few things I make with a lot of vegetables. Now, I'm blessed because I've got a natural garden outside. I've got bell peppers, I've got habanero peppers, jalapeno peppers, I've got serrano peppers. We've got a lot of peppers. And, they all go into the spaghetti. Now, we've got some tomatoes. Now, as you can see on my counter there, we also have some canned tomato products. Now, this stabilizes everything and assures we're going to have a good quality spaghetti sauce. But the homemade stuff, the homegrown vegetables, they're going to add a lot of flavor, vitamins, minerals, and we don't have to worry about how they were processed, where they came from, or what they put inside the cans to preserve them. Okay, so we're going to have some good, fresh vegetables. Now, some of my tomatoes, they're not quite ripe yet. They're still a little green. Some of my tomatoes are products that are a little bit unusual. We've got striped zebra kind of tomatoes with zebra kind of Roma tomatoes. So we're going to put that in the mix as well. So you're welcome to stay with me and watch. Okay? This is some of the produce that I gathered today that I will be putting in the spaghetti sauce, even though some of the tomatoes are not quite ripe. But as you can see, we've got habanero peppers, we've got tomatoes, jalapeno peppers, serrano peppers, we've got bell peppers. Okay, right now we're boiling the tomatoes so that we can stew them. 13 chopped bell peppers. Okay, so right now we are stewing the tomatoes and some of the onions and everything that we've already picked. The sweet basil, the purple basil, the oregano. So this and jalapenos, the serranos, everything is slowly simmering and stewing. I'm stewing my own tomatoes. Wow, that's cool. This is the first time I'm doing that. Now, in some cases, I'm not sure the tomatoes are ripe. But I think this is going to turn out okay when you think about it. So, we're stewing the tomatoes right now, and we haven't even begun to work yet. Because now we've got to start frying the ground beef, the veal, the spicy pork sausage, so that all that meat gets to soak up the delicious flavors as well. And right now I'm going to say something, because if you're cooking like I'm cooking, you're cooking to put stuff in the freezer. Okay, you're going to put your sauce in Tupperware and put it in the freezer, and that way It'll last for months. And you can eat some every week if you want, or whenever you want. You could take it to your friends and relatives or neighbors. So there's always the opportunity to do something with some extra food. But I cook a lot because this will last probably through the fall for my family. Okay, so as you can see, I sliced some of the garlic that I'm going to put in the meatballs. This is another complete head. And the other cloves of garlic I'm going to just simply crush. And what's sliced is going to be diced. Okay, and so here's the diced and crushed garlic that's going to go into the meatballs. So, okay, the tomatoes are already losing their skins. I mean, that was really fast. So now I'm going to quench them in some cold water and ice to stop the process of them cooking. Okay, now this is the result of chopping 13 bell peppers. And we got all the colors. We got yellow, red, green. We're doing really good because they say the more colors you eat, the better your diet, right? Put into the sauce. So again, there's going to be different vitamins, different minerals. And I joke around about my diet, but actually if you think about it, this is starting to look healthy. Okay, now here we are with the onions all chopped that you've seen. But wait, there's more. We've got to put some real flavor with a little kick into it, right? Especially if it's going to be Old Man PT spaghetti. So I'm going to get a hold of my jalapenos and my habaneros and my serrano chilies and put them all in here. Ooh. Okay, so far what we put in there now is 3 jalapenos and 5 serrano chilies. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 habanero peppers. Okay, now we're also putting in some fresh herbs. We've got purple basil, sweet basil, and of course oregano. Okay, night is coming. I mean, I've had to turn on this light, which I know is terrible, because it really kind of darkens me too much with my vanity. Thy name is Jim, huh? But anyway, let's go ahead and start adding the ingredients to this spaghetti sauce and make sure that you know what I'm actually doing. I've gotten a big stock pot, stainless steel, and I'm going to start adding things and I'm going to explain why I'm adding them. Now, I've already added 4 cans of stewed tomatoes. That's going to help balance out anything should those not so ripe tomatoes not taste the way I want them to. But also for stability, I found that adding ragu really helps so that the taste is pretty much the same, the consistency of my recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this. Now my dad, Ed Riley, he didn't have his own garden. And I only recently got one, so it's not like a big deal. But I'm using a 45 ounce. Yeah, is that 45 ounces? Wow, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But I'm using a 45 ounce ragu, bottle of ragu, or jar of ragu. Yeah, 45 ounces. So this is a smaller one. And then I also bought a bigger one. Now this one is 66 ounces. Okay, and I'm going to add this. Now this is not cheating or making just adding a few things to ragu. As you can see, it took a lot of effort just to get to this point with the chopped vegetables. But we're going to have some good stuff. I mean, ragu's a good sauce, but of course, I've been using extra virgin olive oil to stew my tomatoes very slowly over a low flame, okay? Okay. So we're getting that going. And one thing I love is I really like mushrooms in my spaghetti sauce. I hope you do too. Now these are some marinated mushrooms, kind of ooh la la fancy. But you can see it's Pix, so it's from Price Chopper. So it's not as expensive as it could be, I guess, if I got it at a fancy store. But this has been marinated in a blend of oil, garlic, and spices. So this is going to make this just a little more authentico. Of course, I'm going to drain away some of that oil and spices that I paid for. And we're going to put that in the pot. So that we've got some big mushrooms. But we're also going to use some cans of stems and pieces. Because I'm not rich, I don't know about you. But, you know, this way I get my mushrooms. We're kind of at a more reasonable price, I think. Okay, and remember, all this stuff, this costs a lot to put together. But it's going to be a lot cheaper than going to an Italian restaurant to eat every day. Okay, another thing that I like to use, I know some of my friends in Texas are going to say get a rope with Pace Picante sauce. So I've got 2 jars because I knew I'm going to be making a lot of sauce. So we're just going to dump that in there. Now, my wife could only get medium. And then I went to the store like, guess what? All I could find was medium. So it's the same thing. But still, 2 jars of that. That'll add a little bit of flavor. Okay, now I'm going to check a little wine that I have sitting around the house. I'm not a big drinker, so I always have something sitting around the house. You want to make sure it didn't turn into vinegar before you add it. Put a little bit of wine to the spaghetti sauce. It's traditional. And that really was a little bit of wine. Then, kind of tomato puree from, I think it's from Italy. And then again, maybe not. Yeah, it is from Italy. So anyway, you know, it adds a little bit of authentic flavor. That's just tomato puree, nothing else. Very simple. By the way, I am sauteing my vegetables right now that I'm going to put into the sauce. So they're getting a little pre-cooked in a little butter and virgin olive oil. That way it gets that rich flavor, but it's still a little bit healthier than just cooking with butter. Like this tomato puree, I'm going to rinse out in water and add that to the sauce. Make sure we get all that goodness out of that bottle. Same thing with the ragu, the paste. We're going to rinse those out, add those to the sauce. Okay, we went ahead and we added 3 regular sized cans or small cans of Rotel green chilies, the original, which is a little bit spicy too, you know, getting that kick in there. But again, everything is going to mellow out after you cook all night or for 24 hours. So it sounds super spicy so far. And it's a little bit spicy. But it's not as spicy as it might seem. So if you like spicy, this is going to be good. If you're okay with spicy, this is going to be good. If you're afraid of spicy, maybe I put too much in for you. But for right now, we've got the rotel in there. We put all the vegetables in the sauce. That flavor's starting to meld already. And I'm about to put the mushrooms in the frying pan where the buttery virgin oil mix was. And hopefully they'll start to pick up some of that flavor too. Okay, and then after that, we go to the meat. What? I'm still cooking? Yes, I am. Now, the spaghetti sauce has been cooking all night, but at a very low Mamma Mia kind of temperature. I mean, like, just barely on. And again, those flavors are merging together. Now, I just added some garlic. One complete head of garlic. Okay, crushed. And that's going to simmer in there now that this has been cooking all this time. And, with garlic, I think that's one of the last things you want to add. But you want to really get that flavor in there. So we're still going to cook for a couple more hours. But I've also added about 6 cans of Contadina, regular size cans, of Contadina organic tomato sauce. Now we're also adding, or we have already added, 2 cans of whole peeled tomatoes. We're about to add a big can of Contadina crushed tomatoes, and then a can of regular, just off the shelf crushed tomatoes, a can of Hunt's pasta sauce that the wife bought, and then 2 cans of tomato paste, because nobody likes a thin, runny kind of sauce. But we've also added some ground beef and about 12 chopped up Italian sausages. Spicy Italian, of course. If you know Jim, you know everything's got to be spicy, right? So we've got the spicy sausages that we put in there. And those are about this long. And first you cook them. Then you drain the juice out, chop them up in tiny pieces, and throw that in there. So we've got a few pounds of ground beef. We've got 12 Italian sausages chopped up. So we've got a meaty sauce now, right? But are we done? Oh, no. Now we're going to make some meatballs. We're going to have spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah. Wow. Now, in addition to the 1 complete head of garlic, we're going to do another onion chopped. We're also going to add about 7 pounds of ground beef, 1.5 pounds of meatloaf mix, which is really ground pork, veal, and beef, 2 pounds of veal, and 1 more pound of hot ground Italian sausage. So we're going to have some pretty flavorful meatballs. Okay, and there's my spaghetti and meatballs all finished off with a sprinkling of mozzarella, provolone, and Parmesan cheese on top of the spaghetti and meatballs. And let's see how it tastes. This looks good. And here we go. Let's see how it really tastes, because that's what's important. So I'm dipping in here, getting a little bit of that cheese. It looks delicious. It's got mushrooms. It's got so many vegetables. You saw when I was making it, what was it, like 13 just green bell peppers. And that doesn't include the other things. There were 3 different types of onions. And they were pretty big, and there were 4 of them. And so we've got mushrooms. We've got all kinds of herbs in here. Oregano from the garden. We've got rosemary from the garden. We've got fresh tomatoes, and you can see that right here. Actual tomatoes in the sauce. So this isn't, just some sauce off the corner shop here that they make with only ragu, although I do use it to stabilize my sauce. But let's see, because the proof's in the tasting. Oh my gosh. Is that delicious? Now you could taste in the meatballs. Remember, we had veal and beef and pork. Got all kinds of meat in there. We've got some sausages that were in the sauce. So we're eating a lot of different kinds of meat just in the sauce. But these delicious little meatballs, about an ounce a piece, they actually have pork and beef and veal and, oh yeah, sheep, because I actually made a mistake while I was shopping. I wasn't counting on getting sheep, but we got sheep. So, wow, this is really good. Now, call me crazy, but I think the sheep actually added a little flavor and a different dimension to my meatballs. They're good. They're great. So, if it's true that diversity when you're eating, like, how they say eat different colors and all that, if it's true, then this is probably the healthiest thing I eat at all. So anyway, thank you very much for having been with me. Thank you very much for enjoying my videos, I hope. And I hope I'm going to see you again, because now that I'm eating all this, the hiking has to start up again. So we're going to start hiking, and there'll be a new Old Man PT probably sometime this week. Salud. Ah.